This is the plaintiff, Thomas Margetta. He says he parked his car at the defendant's parking facility at the airport, and when he retrieved it, he noticed some deep scratches on the rear door panel. He's repeatedly called the defendant to resolve the matter, but the louse is stonewalling him. He's gone to the Better Business Bureau, had his attorney write letters, and has no other choice but to sue him here at the People's Court for the $1,192.50 he's owed. This is the defendant, Rick. He says the plaintiff's not telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He has indeed been in contact with him, told him his insurance company requested 3 estimates, and he only submitted 1 for a huge amount of money. Besides, he hasn't even proven the scratch happened at his lot because it takes 2 cars hitting one another for damage to occur, and no one else complained. He is accused of rubbing a guy the wrong way.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff parked his car in the defendant's parking lot at the airport, and when he returned, there was damage, and the defendant won't own up. But the defendant says the plaintiff submitted a grossly inflated bill, and he has real questions if the damage happened at his lot. It's the case of the white zone is for suing only.
Thank you, Douglas. Thomas Margetta?
Yes.
You are suing. Okay, you've asked us not to use the company name. The parking facility where you have frequently parked your car, represented here by you're the owner. You've asked us not to use your last name, so I'm going to call you Rick. All right. For $1,192.50, the estimate for a repair that you are going to have to undergo because according to you, it was damaged in their lot.
That's correct.
What's happening?
Okay, I parked the vehicle there last Christmas. I took a trip to go home to visit my family. I had the vehicle parked there for 9 days. Due to overcrowding, they requested that we valet park our vehicles, so I had left the keys in their possession the entire time. When I came back, I did a walk around of the vehicle, and I noticed right away that there was significant damage on the back quarter panel, and I reported it to the shuttle attendant.
Right there, on the spot.
Right on the spot. Reported it to the shuttle attendant, and took a picture with him standing there, and then I reported it to the gate attendant as well. They advised that the manager was not on duty because it was New Year's. So the next day, I contacted the manager and advised him.
Are you also the manager?
I am.
Okay.
Advised him that I was at the Mercedes-Benz dealership to get an estimate for the repairs. I've sent him the photographs, and
What did he say to you?
He said to send him the estimate.
Okay.
So I went to the body shop, got the estimate, and then emailed it to him. And at that point, he said the damage looked like it was something that could not have been done on his lot.
How does damage look like something that can't be done?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure I understood that I have photos.
Are these the pictures that you took that day?
I don't have the the original one because it was on a cell phone.
What kind of car is this?
It's a Mercedes-Benz GLK 350 2010 model. And you can see that the metal scratches go in almost a diagonal line.
Come here.
Right
Your car is the cleanest, shiniest car in the world that just reflects like a mirror.
That's the tire, and I'm standing kneeling down.
What is this?
That's all the damage.
No, I know. But what part of the car is what I mean?
The rear quarter panel. That's the back tire on the driver's side.
All right, go ahead and go back. So he says to you, it looks like damage. I need better pictures. You take the better pictures, you send to him. Then he tells you what? When does he decide he's not going to pay?
He said at that point that the insurance company may need to get involved because of the amount of the damage, and that was the last I ever heard of him.
Well, did you stop contacting him?
No, I sent letters to him. I called him, emailed him, sent letters through my attorney twice. Did not hear from him. Contacted the Better Business Bureau.
He doesn't look like the kind of guy who's going to go away. I don't think you can just ignore him.
No problem.
And then here you are. Tell me what your defense is.
The plaintiff and I had a minor conflict about 6 months prior regarding some sales tax. The plaintiff parked his vehicle for roughly the same amount of time. At the window, checking out, he handed me 2 credit cards. I happened to be the cashier that day also. One of those great things about management. Mr. Margetta asked me to split the ticket between so many days for one card, so many days for the other, because there were 2 different. I think one was business, one was personal. Then he told me
that the same car, but part of his trip was business and part of his trip was personal? Okay.
And I did attempt to accommodate. That we got into not even a dispute really, just a small discussion there about sales tax, $2.70.
$2.70.
Says he didn't have to pay it. And
because the business is?
A government.
All right.
I vividly remember this because it's one of those things you remember. I offered.
Does this sound familiar to you, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I am certain I offered to put the $270 on his side of the ticket because, it's two different payments. I can control the amount of the payment, but I can't take tax off just those days. We're just not set up for that. And we do have other government customers, so.
It's $270.
I'm not arguing.
What difference does that make? So you just said, okay, I'll take the $270 off here if for some reason you can't.
What I said I would do is I'd put it on his side of the ticket.
And he said?
No, he would deal with it later.
Right.
That's what he said.
Okay, but then what's the problem for you? He just asked for something and you said, I can't do it, and that was it?
The next day, someone from his place of business also followed up with me telling me I had to do the same thing.
I worked for the government for 17 years, but honest to God, $2.70, even the government I worked for wouldn't be that stickler.
They're very strict as far as sales tax on anything that's
then
sales tax exempt.
Then you better have your tax exempt certificate with you everywhere you go, because the rest of the companies are going to be, all right, whatever. So, but, okay, what do you think that has to do with this?
So if you spot the damage before you leave the lot, is the lot responsible?
It depends, but not usually. Usually when you go into a lot, on the back of the ticket, it will specifically mention that there's a limitation of liability.
Fair enough, but if they are negligent and they damage your car, are they responsible?
100% responsible.
100% responsible?
Yeah, for sure.
Ever read the back of that ticket? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You have, huh? Interesting. Okay, and finally, are they responsible or not?
If they were negligent, yeah.
Fair enough. We will find that out going inside the courtroom.
I believe that it leads to I'm going to get those guys idea.
Over $2.70? But he used you in between those two things, right?
Yeah.
He did.
Happily. With no problem.
I assume
Maybe it's just that
happily.
you people scratch his car. Maybe it's just that simple.
It's possible.
It's possible,
I
right?
don't think it's possible.
Do you guys, when you take in a car, do you have like do you check if there's damage to a car?
We check for
Let
major.
me see that form, because I can't help but notice that you did not submit it into evidence.
We don't have a form for that.
Why not? You just check visually?
We do. We also
And
have
if there's
also
damage,
have cameras.
Right. And if there's damage, what do you do?
We bring it to the customer's attention ahead of time.
Do you have any evidence that happened here?
No, I do not have evidence.
Okay, so then when the
that
guy's
happened.
taking his car out, there's scratches on it.
Okay.
Okay, and then you are not my first rodeo. Whenever I have a parking garage accused of doing damage, if the customer has left the parking garage, it's safe. The customer left the parking garage. We have no idea where it happened. It could happen in the light. Blah, blah, blah. Now this customer actually tells you, hey, my car's scratched. It's like, oh, he noticed it too soon. That must have been there before.
No.
Well, that's exactly what the affidavit that you submitted into evidence by the shuttle driver says. Is this the shuttle driver?
No.
Okay. You've submitted into evidence an affidavit that says, oh, he wasn't even off the bus and he was talking about the scratches to the car. Were you off the bus or off the shuttle when you noted the scratches of the car?
Yeah, I do a quick walk around of my vehicle to make sure that there was no damage.
I do that every time I take my car out of a valet.
That's exactly what
You
I
know
do.
why? Because I'm the judge on people's court and I watch this every day. And I know exactly what happens as soon as they drive out. As soon as you drive off, you lose, you win. So everybody, whoever hands their car to any other human, needs to do it takes approximately 5 seconds. Walk around the car. Doesn't matter that there's cars waiting behind you. It takes 5 seconds. So you walk all the way around the car, and then you get in the car, tip the valet, and go off on your way. That's what needs to be done. That's what he did. And he sees scratches on it that you can. What is your defense? It's still in your custody when there's a scratches. Your only defense could be it was there before we didn't do it.
That is my defense.
What evidence do you have of it?
The location and nature of the damage on his vehicle is not consistent with something that, in my experience, we could have done.
Is this gentleman a witness?
He is.
Okay. What's he a witness to?
The same or similar situation happened to him in 2008.
In 2008.
We owned up to the damage. We made all the arrangements. We paid for our mistakes.
Okay. So you want to introduce him to show that you are not an unreasonable fellow, and if you felt it was your fault, you'd pay it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's tell me your situation. Did you have scratches or did you have like serious damage?
A quarter panel. I came off the shuttle bus and Rick was standing right next to my car, and I didn't know why he was standing there. And he says, "You have some damage here." He says, "Meet me tomorrow. I'll go to your house." He came by my house.
How bad was the damage?
It was like $900.
But how bad was it visually? Like, was it pretty obvious? Or was
Yes.
Was it dented all in?
No, it was a scratch, and the quarter panel was just sticking out a little.
Okay. Did the guy who hit the car? Did you hit the car?
No, ma'am.
Did your guy who hit the car come up to you and tell you I hit the car?
And that is our company policy.
Right.
And I know this sounds, off base, but we are a family business. We have about 45 employees, 40 employees, depending on the time of year. It is our policy to admit all damage. If you admit damage as one of my employees,
Right.
their personal liability, we have an agreement, it's 10% of the damage. And if they don't admit it because of other employees, because it's a large place, and because of the cameras, we usually catch them and fire them. So
Right.
with 10% unemployment, I believe they have an incentive.
No, I think that's a very good policy.
And that is our policy.
Right.
We're not a fly-by-night company.
You're not crooks.
I don't
You can
believe
still be
so.
wrong though and lose the lawsuit.
Sure.
But you're not. I understand what you're saying and I appreciate it. I like that company policy. I like that. But you're still going to lose because.
Thanks.
Did you look at the video? I guess nothing is on tape.
You cannot
It's
see
not
it.
like you see his car being safely parked. It's just that nothing is caught right on tape.
Actually, I parked his car Christmas Eve morning.
Did you?
I did.
Did you have a little eggnog?
Probably not. No, definitely not. Well, me or one other person, which is a family member.
So look,
but
I don't know how
it's a lot.
it happened. I just know that if he's noting it right there and he's this squirrely, no offense, that he's arguing about $2.70. This guy's a meticulous guy. He walks around his car, all the time. I don't know that there's anything about him that screams sham to me. And you guys are in the best position to have excluded prior damage to this car by having noted it, which you didn't, and therefore I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in this case, $1,192.50. Good luck, folks.
Well, the judge said she likes the policy at the company, and you lose. What's your reaction here?
I still feel that the evidence doesn't relate to our vehicle or our movement or our policy, our operation doing that damage.
What about walking around and doing an inspection of each vehicle and noting prior damage from now on?
We actually will look into that very seriously.
Okay. All right. So head right down this way and start looking into it. Come on in here. Harry is the squirrely winner in this case. What do you feel about the outcome here?
I'm very happy with the outcome. I think she was very fair and she made the right decision.
Mm-hmm. How could it be just a couple of scratches? Like he says, if it hit another car, there'd probably be a dent. Why no dent?
There were over 1,000 vehicles in that lot, and moving them back and forth, it could have hit any of them, and they didn't notice the damage.
All right. Okay, over to Harvey.
I'm going to reinforce what the judge said. Before you leave the lot, whether it's a car wash, parking lot, whatever, walk around your car, check for the damage. If you leave, you will never get your money. And that's, well, with only if they'll admit it. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.